one thing I do want to ask you is, you said you've been interested in this for like 10 plus years, but there's a lot of people that are obviously been interested in this topic. Why did you decide to start this? Like why are you the person who is doing this? Why did you bother doing it?
Wonderful question. I never wanted to be. And I have multiple videos prior to starting this saying, I'm best as just a mascot for this,
Mm,
or like better to get people who really know what they're doing or, have a larger presence. I guess just nobody stepped up. I mean, or nobody who is in a position, like I have like a medium-sized audience, so I'm able to reach some people on
mhm.
this. Um, I mean, there are people who care about it as much as I do. I know that, but they
Sure.
might not have been in a position to influence much. Though I had a video, I think, geez, might be like 5 years back now, where I talked much more about this called Games as a Service as Fraud. And I unfortunately got some things wrong in that one on the United States. When it comes to US law, just throw out anything I said in that video, but the rest of it holds up. But in that one, I was basically kind of a call for help, saying like, hey, I'm willing to help push this, but I need help on this. And there were a lot of people who were on board in spirit, but not, there was no real plan. So I don't know why it's me. I think, in fact, in my promotional video for this, I said it's a joke that like we have to go through this much effort just to not get robbed,
Mhm.
essentially. I don't know. I mean, I guess this is a constant uphill battle because you have the perception of gamers that from a lot of them that they don't realize you can have this is all a conscious decision by companies and they don't have to have this. I mean, see, in my mind, just the fact that you have World of Warcraft emulators or I think you mentioned Final Fantasy 14. I mean,
RuneScape's a lot further along. RuneScape had private servers before WoW had private servers. Like they work
those
perfectly.
are those are big, complicated MMO games, and people are running them on home systems. So this is certainly possible. What we're asking for, and like I understand people getting tripped up over the license arguments, where I have to explain this is more in the future, where it's kind of like you're breaking the cycle, where
Hmm.
all these licenses that they can't that just don't allow it now. Well, that can be renegotiated in the future if it's a known requirement.
Hmm.
I get people getting tripped up on that. But so some people, especially young gamers, don't understand this is even possible first. I think I'm just crazy. Another, again, there'll be that think, well, okay, this is reasonable for single player games, but multiplayer, you're going way too far. It's like, well, it's not that different under the law. Yeah. Let's see, what's the other? Geez, I had it on the tip of my tongue. There's another misconception about. Oh yeah, that's the hell of this.
Mm.
That's the reason this has taken 10 years. Is that this is always a minority of people whenever it happens
Mm.
because you have the people who really care are the diehards that really like that game. Most people have moved on to another game, so they don't really care about the
Right.
game once it shuts down. So you're working with this permanent small minority of people who are affected, where it's like a long tail effect, where
Hmm.
you know you get enough people, there's eventually going to be some old game that they want to replay.
Hmm.
I think I think a lot more people care about this than they realize. It's just they're not going to know it until 10 or 15 years from now.
Hmm.
So that's the other thing. We're just kind of scrambling to get any attention on this. I feel like every time there's been like talk of reform on like right to repair or more rights in video games, it's like it's like you can't hit the target. It can never hit the target. It always misses.
Hmm.
And so just getting this escalated at consumer protection agencies, nothing like this has ever been done before. Like yeah, we had a lot of the crew really was a great candidate for this
Hmm.
because like the best candidate prior to this
Mm.
would have probably been Overwatch since that was much bigger and that
Hmm.
had 50 million in sales. But the thing is, Overwatch, they shut down Overwatch 1 and then they made Overwatch 2 free. And then they gave like some bonuses to people who own the original. Well,
Hmm.
if you're a regulator and don't know anything about video games, you're going to look at that and think, well, this is compensation for the people that bought the original, and just say like, no, this. So it's like to go to all that effort and just get dismissed on like a small thing like that, and have to wait. You'll lose all the momentum. So that's what I said. That clean kill aspect of it was really important. But like with Destiny 2, they've removed like tons of levels and content from DLCs, but that's such a muddy issue to explain to regulators who may know nothing about video games. So just you bought it, they shut it down, and then you lost it and they kept your money. That's as simple as it needs to be for regulators.
Right, if you start getting to things like, oh, well, between this WoW expansion and that WoW expansion, this zone was changed and NPCs are no longer there, so certain quests are not accessible. Yeah.
That's for a later date if we have a success. Then you can talk about stuff like that.
Yeah, that's that. Good luck with that one. You will need to wait for people who actually play video games to be regulators to deal with that one.
That's actually another point. That's one area I'm willing to surrender on, is what version of the game that they have for the end of life build. If it's because right now we have nothing most of the time.
Right.
But if they're giving a 1.0 build, or if they're giving the last 5.2 build, fine, mission accomplished. And that might upset people if they added a lot of good things, or occasionally sometimes they like the older version, but we're not trying to dictate which version, because that's just another can of worms.
Yeah.
We're just trying to get a beachhead here.